So, you've been keeping up with recent regionals and online tournament results, and you keep seeing Banette EX with Gardevoir come up on the stream or winning online tournaments. You tried to pick it up on TCG Live, and you just didn't get it. 30 damage? That's never enough. What am I supposed to do? And that's why I'm here to help. I've got a guide, and I'm trying to turn that into a video. So you may have kept up with online tournament results in the Stellar Crown format, and one deck has been doing like really well, and that's why it's got, it's gone up a lot, this format, in popularity. It used to have a lot higher win percentage, because like not that many people would play it, and the people who did would know. So it's gone down a little bit, so that's a bit deceptive, but the people who know what they're doing with this deck really know what they're doing. And there's one name on this page that you might see 3 times, and that's mine. So I won one, and I've top 8'd quite a few. So I'm a big fan of Banette Gardevoir. It is really complicated, but all things can be taught. So the deck list I prefer isn't the exact same as the one you might typically see. It's very similar to, it's obviously based on Mateus's list, the real mastermind behind it all. A couple small differences is I've got 5 Psychic Energy and 4 Luminous instead of 6 and 3. This is because you really value setting up your Monkey Dory early. And you don't need too much Psychic Energy. The only time you really need like 5 Psychic Energy is when you're trying to kill a Raging Bolt with Mew EX, and it's got like a charm on it. But that doesn't come up very often, and you can always monkey damage on to get it down to the right amount anyway. So the reasoning behind like the stuff in the list, you need 4 Shuppet. I've seen people try and cut Shuppet because like you probably only need like 3 in a game. You really want 4 Shuppet, because what 4 Shuppet allows you to do is like if you go second, you're more likely to start Shuppet than any other Pokemon, especially if you like sort of include Mew EX because it has free retreat, and that lets you Enveloping Shadow, and then you can get turn 1 item lock if you're lucky enough. 3 Banette EX. Banette Dusclops played 2. That was mainly because you would only need 1 Banette per game. Here you probably want 2 in like every game, except maybe against Lugia, because you want 2 so that you can retreat between 2 Banette EX every turn using Psychic Embrace, and then Monkey Dory 30 damage to infinitely cycle Monkey Dory damage. You also probably want 3 against Raging Bolt. You often need 3 Banette EX against Raging Bolt because they'll knock out 2, and the final one will be when you'll lock them out of all of their energy. The Puppet Offering Banette's really good. It lets you checkmate. It lets you get back a 5th Iono to knock deck out. It's good against Snorlax to get back your Professor Turos. 3 Rolts. You got 2 of the 70 HP to be like against Dragapult. It's also good against Snorlax because it can switch itself. Memory Skip's really good. It is 60 HP. So into Dragapult, you want to bench it early. Same as into Lost Box, you want to bench it early to try and evolve it. But against like Zard or even Regidrago, you can save it for later, and then you can stop them from attacking for a turn. So that's like really relevant if Zard gets like a Zard up early and you need to stall. So Mateus's list also plays 3 Rolts and 4 Curlier, which most people don't really get. But you only need like 2 Curlier, but you really want Curliers early. So you want to draw into your Curliers early. So you definitely want 3. I cut one for a Trekking Shoe because I want that first turn explosive capability to get that switch and attack. And I just want that early consistency more than I want the Curlier. 2 Gardevoir EX is just, it's the standard number. It's really good in this deck because it hits for huge numbers when you combine it with Monkey Dory. Double Monkey Dory, I would never go lower because you want at least 1 Monkey Dory, if not 2 in most games. The Scream Tail's really interesting. So up until very recently, most lists were playing the Radiant Alakazam, but it's so bad when you start it that it's almost not worth it. And if you're very careful with your Monkey Dories, you don't need Radiant Alakazam. You can trap something in the active, and you can just use Monkey Dory to kill it on your turn, so that you can boss something else. So if you're very careful, you don't need Radiant Alakazam. If you're just starting out with the deck, I think you might want to try it with the Radiant Alakazam instead of the Scream Tail, because it lets you easier trap stuff against like Terapagos or even against like Zard. Dragapult's the one where it's relevant. The Spiritomb's good because it's super good against Lugia, because Item Lock isn't that good against Lugia. it can stop them from discarding their Archeops, but you're probably only item locking for like 2 or 3 turns, and then you're trying to just go into Gardevoir EX and attack. So you need Spiritomb to slow them down to turn off their Luminion. It's also really good into Zard, because it means they can't instant charge and find their Charmeleon early. And then Mew EX is your best attacker. Mew EX is so good. Mew EX is so good, because it's really good to start, because it can free retreat into a Shuppet. And it's such a good attacker against like Dragapult, and we'll go through all the specifics later, but like Mew EX is your best attacker. 4 Iono, you wish you could play 6, but you can't, so you play 4 into Research. You don't want to play Research, but it's the best draw supporter other than Iono. 2 Boss, you are a trapping deck, so you need those outs to Boss. Ciphers is a really interesting one. It's definitely an argument that you don't want Ciphers, because, you know, as I was talking about earlier, you want that first turn consistency, but Ciphers is just so good. You'll usually be using it to find like Gravity Gemstone and Luminous Energy, just because you don't have any ways to search those. But it's also really good at the end of the game, because you can go Puppet Offering for Cypher Maniacs and put the 2 cards you need to win next turn on the top. And even if your opponent Ionos, you win. Turos is good because it lets you pick up your Gardevoir and like keep tanking and healing, which is really relevant in like the late game of Gardevoir Banette, where you're trying to like cycle Gardevoir EX without it dying. 4 Ultra Ball, because you've got no other way to find your Curlies and your Banettes. 4 Shoes, because you want that first turn consistency. 4 Poffin, because you need to find your basics. 2 Nest Ball. Yeah, 2 Nest Ball, because you've got 2 Artisan. I thought I had 3 for a minute. But no, 2 Nest Ball, because you can find your... You need to find your basics. That's why you got so much ball search, because you need to find your basics turn 1. So you got like 2 Artisan as well. So 1 Super Rod, because you'd like to, but you don't need it if you're very careful. So that's fine. Prime Catch is the best A spec just because it's the best A spec. It's a switch, it's a gust. There's not much more you can want. It's also really good like turn 1, because it lets you switch into your Shuppet. Counter Catcher, you need another gust. 2 would be nice, but you've just not got space. Gemstone is like insane, because Gemstone lets you not have to play Wasteland. So you can play like Artisan, and then you can trap something. Gemstone also lets you trap like stage 1s, which is really good. The other thing that Gemstone does is it increases your retreat. So you can like retreat your Mew EX and get an energy back, which can be relevant. And it lets you build up much more damage every turn with Monkey Dory on your Banette. Because you need to attach more energy. 2 Artisan, because you need 2 stadiums to turn off Terra Paths, Temple of Sinnoh, and Jamming Tower. So they just have to be stadiums, that's just how it is. 5 basic Psychic. 4 Luminous, you need Psychic Energy. But the Luminous is really good because, it stops, it lets you use Monkey Dory. It's better than Dark Energy because it can also work early game with your Banette. Okay, so the first matchup that you're going to want to know, because it's probably the most simple, is the Charizard matchup. Now the Charizard matchup now is it's a bit more difficult than it used to be, but in some ways it's easier. So the Charizard matchup, what you normally want to do is you need to get that turn 2 item lock going first, because if they go Pidgeot, you just kind of lose, because Pidgeot just finds them all of the cards they need. So the best of 3 scenario, if they get out Pidgeot, you just scoop and you go to the next game, because this deck is quite slow, so you need to win your games at a reasonable pace. So if they get Pidgeot, you need to just scoop and go to the next one. So the point of item lock against this is that it turns off their rare candies, and sometimes their super rods is a relevant one. So you can turn off, but that doesn't mean they're never going to get a Zard, because they've got the Charmeleon. The Charmeleon has 90 HP, so it doesn't just die immediately. So the aim of the game isn't always to just kill the Charmeleon, because you can deal with a Charizard. Charizard's fine. Charizard hits the board, you can kill it with like Mew EX, or over 2 turns with Gardevoir. But normally you can prevent the Charizard by, if you keep item locking, you want to set up 2 Banette EX, and a Gardevoir and a Monkey Dory, and you can retreat between your Banette EX every turn, and Monkey Dory 30 damage over to the Charmeleon. So at the beginning of the game, you want to put 30 damage onto like any Charmanders to prevent Charmeleon. Because then what you can do is if they both have 30 damage on them, the second the Charmeleon hits the board, you go Boss, you Monkey Dory 30, and you punch, and Charmeleon is dead under item lock. Charizard can never hit the board. After you've done that, you want to start killing the Pidgeys, because if you have to release the lock, then you don't want Pidgeot to hit the board. You don't really care too much about the Duscles, but, be wary of them Dusknoir in your Monkey or something. Or sending up Monkey Dusknoir, doing Dusknoir, and then Radiant Charizard would be quite scary, but that's fine. You need Spiritomb in this matchup to turn off Rotom V so that they can't find their Charizard. Because that's why this matchup's kind of easier than it used to be. Because the Charizard EX, they only play 2 Charizard EX now. So 2 Charizard EX, they're less likely to find it. So the item lock's a lot stronger. The Forest Seal Stone, they'll usually use to grab Charmeleon or Charizard, whichever one they don't have. That's fine, don't worry about it too much. They will find it they probably will find Charizard eventually. So when Charizard hits the board, you want to race prizes. So you want to go down to like 4 and start monkey dooring all of your damage over to the Charizard, so that no matter how much damage they have, you can go Mew EX, Burning Darkness, and KO their Charizard for game. If it's way early and the Charizard hits the board, you want to boss whichever support Pokemon help them get it there, like Rotom, Lumineon, or Fez, and you can trap it with Gravity Stone. So the Terapagos matchup's probably slightly harder than Zard, because Terapagos wants to go blind first. A lot of Zard lists do now as well, but Terapagos is so consistent at turn 2 Pidgeot with like 4/4 Noctowl. Again, if they get the Pidgeot, you just want to scoop and go next. Your win condition against Terapagos is usually, it lets you can probably run them out of energy, which is really good. Because if you just keep bossing something, like a Noctowl, which they will have to use to set up, it will require them to use one of their 4 DTEs to retreat. And they don't have many of those. And they can't get them back, is what's really interesting about that. So you can usually run them out of energy, because this doesn't even play like Penny or anything. So yeah, you just boss around it. You probably do want to target the Duscles with your Monkeydories first. Because you don't really care about what they're finding off Noctowl, because Noctowl, unless they play Colress, can't raw search an energy. So they're still trying to draw into that, so that's fine. But the Duscles will let them late game KO your Gardevoir in one hit, which you really don't want. So in the early game, you're trying to just eat up prizes with like Monkeydory and killing like Duscles. This is like the typical like this. With Monkeydory, and you can take like 4 prizes with that, or like even if you only take 2, as long as all the Duscles are gone, you can pivot and go Gardevoir EX, and just start like killing their Terapagos, because they can't kill you back. You can use the baby Banette to Turo and then put it back down. The other thing that Terapagos decks can play is the Bouffalon. If they play the Bouffalon and they bench it thinking, oh, but now they can't damage me, it's a huge mistake. Because you can still damage them using Dory Looping, retreating between your 2 Banettes. And it requires 3 energy to retreat with a Gravity Stone. And you can trap it forever. Because you don't kill the other Bouffalon. You just keep doing 0 damage and only using Monkeydory. And then their Bouffalon is like permanently trapped. And that's really good. So the other thing about this matchup, because you don't have the Radzam, is that if you're trying to trap something, make sure that you kill it on your turn so that they can't attack, because then you can boss up something else. So that's the Terapagos. But be careful of Briar, obviously, as well. You don't want to let them go like double Dusknoir into a Briar play, because that would be really bad. Yeah, be wary of the Blood Moon. If the Blood Moon hits the board early, you trap it. But yeah, so you want to get the Duscles, and you need to lock so that they don't get Pidgeot. If they get Pidgeot, you lose. If they don't get Pidgeot, you're probably going to win. Palkia Dusclops. Probably the most toxic deck in format, but it is very funny. And this sort of goes for all of the Dusclops decks. Banette's really good into them if you go first. Because if they just sort of Dusclops your entire board and kill all your Shuppets with like Radiant Greninja and Dusclops, you need a lot, because then you need to go like Prime, Catcher, Heads, Flip, and establish a board, which I did do in an online tournament, but it's not ideal. If you get turn 2 lock, they sort of just have no engine, because their only engine is Pokestop. And they can't bench Fez, because you can run them out of energy. Palkia is another one where you run them out of energy, because they'll be Star Portaling a lot. They'll Star Portal, they'll Greninja, and they'll attach a lot. one of the few matchups where you can afford to boss Squawkbilly, because it might make them just use all of their energy from their discard pile, get it all trapped, and then you can just boss like a Palkia for game, and you can just stall it forever. But the main plan is that you lock them, you store something, like try and avoid Squawk, but it's fine. And you Monkey Dory to kill all of the Dusclops. Don't fill your bench. You don't want to let the Palkia one-hit KO your Banette. That would be bad. Yeah, if they go first, you fail to Enveloping Shadow for heads. Yeah, if they wipe your board, you might want to just go next game. Quickly try and play out like a turn or two, but if it's not working, just go next game. Keep chugging. You might win in the end game a lot of the time, like if you did lock early, obviously, with like Radiant Greninja. So be aware of Radiant Greninja, because it can speed up your win condition, which is always good in a best of 3. You want, like... The other important thing about Palkia Dusclops is, yeah, don't leave your Banette with damage on it, so only move like 20 damage a turn to leave your Banette at full HP, so that Palkia and Blood Moon won't KO it. So Lugia can be fine as a matchup if they play like 1-1 or 2-2 Cinccino, because you can what you want to do is you set up Spiritomb and you item lock. You only ever set up one Shuppet because you're not trying to retreat between them really, because it's a really weak attacker against Lugia, which doesn't need items so much. As you can see, they play like only search items. They even have like Mace of Goza, which is really scary. But you item lock early in combination with Spiritomb to try and buy like 3 turns to prevent them from summoning start. In that time, you want to try and kill them in Chinos. And then you just start attacking with Gardevoir EX, healing it off with Monkey Dory, turbo it back up. Because they can't one-shot it, because they can't use Weird Air. Because Weird Air is turned off by Spiritomb. The Jacques is also kind of scary in this matchup, because they can go Jacques. If they do play the Jacques, they can't discard in the same turn as long as you're item locking. So you want to Iona them out of the Archeops again. This is one of the... You want to... What's the other thing about this matchup? Yeah, you want double Dory if you can, but, you know, you can't always. Keep in mind that you only need to Dory to Lugia twice, and then you can kill it with Mew EX if you need to. About the Legacy energy, if they're attacking with hands and you can't kill it in one go, that's fine, because you want to kill the Legacy energy Pokemon with Monkey Dory if you can, so that you can get the full 2 prizes. That's also really relevant in a lot of matchups against Fezandipiti, because Fezandipiti, you don't want to activate it because it draws like a lot of cards. So you can do Screamtail, attack something like the Fez, and then Monkey Dory onto it next turn, so that you can take like 4 prizes in one turn and only activate the Fez once instead of twice. Regidrago. Regidrago on the face of it feels like it should be a good matchup because they need the energy switches. You definitely need to go first or flip heads because you really want to turn off those energy switches. You're fine with them setting up one Regidrago. They probably always will. One Regidrago is fine because you just boss something, and none of these Pokemon are particularly nimble, so they will get stuck. Yeah, so one Regidrago is fine. They can do like Dragapult probably, and then kill like a Shuppet. If they use Kyurem, you win on the spot. Because if they use Kyurem, you can just item lock them, and then they'll never be able to set up another Drago because all of their energy's gone. They can't use E-switches. The other thing about... So, there's 2 ways this matchup goes, and the Hoot is what makes it really scary. Because if they bench one Drago V, and they don't ever do another one, and they just attack with that because they know they won't be able to power up another one, you can kill it with Gardevoir EX. And that's fine. The Regidrago's gone. That would usually work, and they won't be able to attack with it anymore. The other way is that they bench a second Drago V, and in that variation, you boss the second Drago V and you trap it, because it has 3 retreat and it's not attacking anytime soon. And then you Monkey Dory over to the other Drago, kill the other Drago, and they probably won't set up. You can do that in combination with like an Iono if they took early prizes. But what makes the Hoot so scary is that the one Drago strategy becomes really good, because they can immediately sort of go like hoot hoot with double energy switch, set up a second Drago V and Dragon Laser, and then you're sort of back to square one. But they can't one-shot a Gardevoir EX, so, you know, Gardevoir EX can't be one-shot because they've got nothing that can kill it, so tank and heal, as usual, good strategy when you have 310 HP. Dragapult, you might think that because they have 3 stage 1s, this would be really scary. It's not. You don't care about the Dracloaks. You want to Monkey Dory into the Dusclops, because the Dracloaks aren't a problem, because Dragapult only plays 3/3 energy, so even if they manage to power up a Dragapult and then retreat, you can just boss something again, and they're probably stuck. But even if they are attacking with Dragapult, you want to not put down Spiritomb, even though they use Rotom, because you want to have a board of 2 Monkey Dory, so that you can heal off so much damage a turn, because they'll spread the damage, you can heal it back off, and then attack them. You will usually win the game using Mew EX. Because Mew EX will let you go 2 Dories, and then you can even like Turbo Dory, put it back down, attach another Luminous, and then you can use Dragapult's own attack to then completely wipe the board and take like 4 or 5 prizes. So don't worry if they take like 4 prizes in the early game. As long as you can recover, you probably will still win the game. Because they won't be able to retreat easily because Gravity Stone, and they don't play enough energy to be very maneuverable. The one thing you do want to be scared of is don't put your Artisan down early game, because you need to play around the Temple of Sinnoh. Because if they turn off Monkey Dories and you don't have any outs, you will lose. In the late game, Spiritomb can maybe hit the board if you only have like 1 Banette EX and you don't need a second one, because you want to turn off like Luminion for boss. Raging Bolt. So Raging Bolt is a really good matchup. It's also really stressful, because in the early game a lot can happen, but they're very, very vulnerable to like boss something, Gravity Stone, and just lock, because their deck will not function. So you want to just lock something, and just keep building up damage, Dory looping, because it's all about speed. You want to be fast, because you don't want them to find their Sardas. So you want to keep going quickly with the lock and the Monkey Dory and spreading like at least like 30 from the Monkey Dory and the damage per turn, while you lock a 2-prizer, and you can sort of build up damage on 2 Ogapons at once. The other thing about this matchup, you do not release the item lock until you will be ahead on prize cards. So if they've taken 3, you don't release the item lock until you can take 4 in 1 turn, and then you can attack with, you know, Gardevoir, Poltergeist, or Mew EX. Poltergeist is a strong attack in this matchup, but only do it if you have no other option, because you always want to be safe. So if you can KO with something other than Poltergeist, you usually want to. Unless you're guaranteed off of Pokestop that you know it'll KO. Interesting thing about this matchup, if they use Earthen Vessel early, and they like get all their energy into their hand because they want to use their items, Iono just kills them, because you go Iono, you don't put Artisan down, they can't shuffle the deck, all the energy is stuck. Fairs is the best boss target, because Squawk accelerates the energy back, which is what you don't want. If they Squawk away double Sarda early and you lock, you might be able to completely run them out of energy, but not that common. Yeah, but you just lock something, their deck will really struggle because they can't Vessel for energy. Because you want to lock like an Ogapon or a Fairs, or even Ninja if you need to. Because they can't Sarda to it to retreat. They only play like 1 boss, so Gravity Stone's really good. Then we're getting to like a pretty bad matchup. So Gardevoir, really bad matchup. There's not much to be said. Like, you're just a worse version of their deck. They don't really care about the item lock because they have Curlier to find the stuff. So it's another one where you probably, you know, you can get away with 1 Banette. Because you're trying to just... Item lock's only really strong if it's turning off their Earthen Vessel. So once they've done that, you're sort of just in a war where you need to have 2 Dories, and they can only be allowed to have 1, so that you can do enough damage. The other thing item lock's good for is it can show off their rods, so if you can get rid of like Drifloon and Screamtail, you might want to lock for a little bit longer. While you pick off Curliers. And then an Iono might be able to stop them from finding anything. Avoid using Artisan early if you can, because you don't really want to give them the search, because you kind of need to stifle their setup or you're really struggling. If they play Greninja, that's a really good win condition because it lets you take 2 prizes against something that you really normally can't. The Fairs is really good if they put that down, but they won't. Yeah, so it's all about turning off their vessels, really. It's a really bad matchup. You just need to have more Monkey Dories so that you can item lock and damage them. Just checking. Yeah, that's all. You can get them down to like 1 Curlier. That's good. Snorlax. So the typical Rotom build, you got a really good matchup into because you can go. You want a board state of like 2 Shuppet, Spiritomb, 2 Teleportation Burst Rots, and then your Memory Skip Rots that you evolve into a Gardevoir. Because then everything can sort of retreat. Because the Spiritomb goes back to hand and it turns off their Rotom. The Teleportation Burst Rots can retreat out of the way. You want Scream Tail as well because you need something to kill Mimikyu. But yeah, you want to just... It's very board state dependent. You can sort of Poltergeist spam them, but you don't have that many switch. So do be careful with that. So you want to sort of just like item lock them, but Handheld Fan's a really scary one, so if they play Handheld Fan, item lock's not as good. So you want to sort of spam kill the Handheld Fan ones, and then you can go back to item lock. Make sure that when you Turo, you don't use your Banette for anything else, because you can use the baby Banette to get back the Turo. The other really interesting part of this matchup is that if they send up Mimikyu, you sort of just take like 3 turns off, where you get all of your energy back to the discard pile. Because they send up Mimikyu, you just take a few turns to get all your energy back, and retreat it off all of the different attackers. Especially like Scream Tail, which you may have to like load some energy up onto. But you don't really want to get energy stuck, so you want to get the damage on Scream Tail, and then be able to kill the Mimikyus. The other thing about Scream Tail is that you can keep the Mimikyu active and kill the Snorlaxes on the bench with the Scream Tail. That's really good, because it won't activate Handheld Fan, and the Mimikyu might get like stay in the active, but yeah. This matchup's pretty good, because, you know, you can turn off the counter catchers, but do be careful. You know, if you start like Memory Skip, that's pretty bad. Yeah, Cornerstone you don't really care about, because Poltergeist will eventually kill it. But just wait until the right moment. But yeah, if they send up something other than Lax, make sure to get all of your energy back before you go to kill the Mimikyu. Pidgeot is like fine. If you lock them out of the Pidgeot, their only strategy is to go like Regidrago, Giacomo loop into Mimikyus, but just don't put all of your Luminous down. Another reason why you like 4. Early game, you want 2 Shuppets, and you want a Spiritomb to turn off the... Even if you miss the lock, Spiritomb, they're probably not going to find Candy Pidgeot without Luminion or Rotom. But yeah, if you lock them, that's fine. Don't put all of your Luminous down at once, because you want to be able to kill Mimikyus while not releasing the lock, because if they go like Thorn and Candy Pidgeot, you're in a bad situation. Don't use your Turo, because they have Morwell and they have Ogerpon, so you want to be able to get your Turo back. But yeah, if you lock them, they're going to be a really bad position. They probably will get all 3 Mimikyu, but just kill it with Monkey Dory while you're item locking for 0. Iron Thorns, really bad matchup. Really bad matchup. Because like the Crushing Hammers are so brutal. Because 30 damage just isn't enough against this, because it will hit 140 every time. You probably just want to spam Poltergeist and just hope it works. If they've only got like 1 Iron Thorns, you can maybe item lock them for 2 turns. Then you Poltergeist to try and donk them. There's some school of thought that you go like double Dory and you keep item locking and you can maybe like outpace them, but it's really hard to set up your Dory, and you don't really want to put Curlier down because it will just get bossed and you might get stuck. So if you're trying to do like item lock prey, Curlier hitting the board's really bad. There's also not many cards you want to discard of Curlier, because you can't really discard the energy. So Iron Thorns is really bad. You want to spam Iono and Poltergeist and just kill them. Because if you can do that early, before they take prizes, Iono to 6 will probably get them to 4, and you can kill them with Poltergeist. Lost Box, really good matchup. Just make sure you get the Banette. Value getting a Banette, and you can recover from anything, because they play 1 Sableye, 1 Cramorant. So as long as you can just kill them under item lock, they're gone. Be careful of the Blood Moon, but they can't use any of their switches, so Gravity Stone means they can only use like 1 Comfey per turn. Yeah, but item locking prevents them increasing their loss on early, but even if it gets to like 7, they can't use Mirage Gate because they're locked, and they have nothing that one-shots Banette. So you want to just keep the lock the whole game and just go like 1 or 2 Monkey Dory. It's definitely a Dory loop matchup, so you want to have 2 Banette EX, retreat between the 2, Dory the damage every turn, just pick apart their board. You want to prioritize killing the Cramorant over the comp phase, because you don't... 110 is like just above the threshold of damage you can handle. And then you want to target the Sableye, then you can start killing the comp phase, and you can often close out the game by using Mew EX and Radiant Greninja. Keep track of energy. You can definitely lock them out of energy if they're using energy to retreat, and then all you've got to be careful of is Blood Moon. So Dory looping, that's all the matchups, that's all the relevant matchups basically. Ancient Box isn't really relevant, and you just lose to it anyway. The other one you might want to know about is like Roaring Moon, but I've not got it on the slide, but Roaring Moon, Petrunt's bad, kill the Peturunt. If they use Frenzied Gouging, you can kill them under item lock and they might not attack. The Baby Moon's terrifying, which is why you need to kill Peturunt, because you don't want the Baby Moon to hit the active again. It's very winnable. But yeah, item lock early is good, because you can prevent them finding the energy, putting it in the discard. But yeah, Roaring Moon's very winnable. But yeah, it is a dark type that one-shots you. Dory looping is just setting up 2 Banette EX, and then you can retreat between them. And then that'll let you do more damage, because you can attack stuff on the bench using your Monkey Dory every turn, instead of waiting for them to hit you. Yeah, so this is really complicated, but if you're really careful with your Curlies and your Ionos, and you don't shuffle the deck, you can effectively sort of know where the boss's orders is in your deck, because you can Iono it to the bottom, draw a bunch off Curlia, and make sure that the boss is like in like the top third, so that if you get Iono'd, you can draw back into it. Now that we play Ciphers, it's a lot easier, because you can just Ciphers the boss on the top. But yeah, if you thin your deck a lot, and you Iono the boss to the bottom, and then draw a bunch, at the end of the game, even if they Iono you, you can draw back into the boss. And that's it for the guide section, because that's all the matchups. So, just a bit of gameplay left to do. Okay, let's call heads. Fucking hell. Okay, so we do really want to go first, but it's like we can work with it. Yeah, every deck wanting to go first in format isn't great for us, but we can definitely work with it. It's fine. Okay, we would have liked to open Shuppet here, but it's fine. Is this... Oh, it's Zard. Okay, so we really want to go first into Zard. This is now really bad. You need to go first into Zard so that you can lock them, like, immediately. You know, into stuff like Drago, you can maybe come back a bit more, but if they get Pidgeot here, it's just terrible. So we need to, like, top deck Iono and go, like, Prime Catcher and get the flip, but we at least need an energy, because if we don't see an energy, we definitely just lose. Okay, they've got nothing, so that's fine. So we've got the energy, so we at least have the Toemon attached. So we want to go bench Spiritomb, Shuppet, Rolt. Art is on for Shuppet. Attached to Shuppet. And then I think we want to stack what? We can go like Research Prime Catcher. Well, Research Energy is fine. Yeah, because I think we'll find a Banette off of that. And then we'll pass. We probably... The issue is we probably do see, like, Candyzard here, and that's, like, terrible. Charmander. See Arters on here, probably. What do they get? Like Pidgey? Because the prize checking, that's like fair enough. Yeah, Pidgey. So against Zard, like as I said, you can deal with Zard early, but you can't. Or you can sort of deal with Zard early, but you absolutely cannot deal with a. Ooh, don't shuffle that. So we are going to research away those just because. Okay, this is bad. Okay, now it's not. Attach that. Because Pidgeot just lets them find the cards so much faster and quicker than we can keep up with. Like, they can find, like, Charmeleon, energy, and, like, everything they need, like, so quick. And we just can't keep up with that so much. We'll go... Probably don't need that here. We need to hold one of the Luminous Energies. I think we can get rid of one. And then there's a Banette. We don't really need to dig here. So Artisan. Okay. We prized double Monkey Dory. That's not good. That's really not good. We just gotta try and take prizes quickly then, because we've not got a great response to Charmeleon. Probably they are on for like oh, Cleffa, okay. Cleffa's actually really good for us here. Normally you don't want to see Cleffa because you don't want to take prizes super early. Why is that? Because you don't want to sort of like, play into a potential Roxanne, or you don't love taking prizes early. But here we really want to draw the Monkey Dory off the prizes, so that would be good. You also don't love taking prizes early because you don't want to Iono yourself and then only get like 4 cards when you really need something. So I think we're like fine with Cleffa here. Okay, boss is bad, but we do have the outs. We don't really want to lose another Luminous though. Okay, so we definitely have the out here. So we go probably we want to keep Stadium in case they have like Temple. Okay, bench Radzard's really bad for them here because we can stall that if we want to. Ooh, using the Forest really needs his cards. We do need to get Monkey Dory off this prize though. Okay, right. Shoe. Okay, that's not good. Can Refinement the Mew, even though we probably want it later. We just don't need it right now. 4 Iono in hand is like terrible. So if we do Iono, we're going to want to immediately Artisan. Yeah. Okay, we are going through the deck at an alarming rate here. So we are going to want to be very careful about that. We've got 4 Ionos to work with. So this is where we do want to start taking prizes. Because then our Ionos like save us more time than they would. Nice bit of damage build up, and we can go Everlasting Darkness. So we want to find Monkey Dory off this. Okay, that's really bad. We probably want to Artisan to shuffle the Luminous back to the top. Well, not back to the top, but off of the bottom. Obviously, if anything goes wrong here, we can go catch a Radzard. That's another reason we don't want to play into the whole prize race thing, because Radzard is a thing. Let's see. Okay, we see the Luminous, so we're just digging for the prizes now. Duskull. What do you think about Duskull? Don't think I'm too bothered. Duskull doesn't really allow them to do anything. Like Dusclops, I mean, if they go like Dusknoir or Curlier, it's not great, but with a board like this, you don't care. Now, I think what I am going to do here, I think I do just start building up damage for the Monkey Dory. Just so that when we get it, we already have the damage, because there's nothing on their board that's too threatening. So we just want to build up the damage. We don't want a Curlier because our hand's fine. We have any resource we need in it, so we just want to keep doing that. Okay, we're gonna have to definitely Artisan now because that's all our Luminous. Okay, yeah, this is one of the hands. Okay, yeah, there's the Charmeleon. Oh dear. Okay. If we had like Monkey Dory here, the Charmeleon, the Charmeleons would all be damaged and we'd be fine. But start with this. We kind of want to boss Radzard now that Charmeleon's hit the board, but we need to take prizes, I guess. I think I'm fine this turn to just punch, because we want to get the Charmeleon. Not the Charmeleon, sorry. We want to get the Monkey Dory. I don't think the odds of them having a Charizard in... Okay, so this is really bad. It's fine. If we see the Charmeleon get sent up here, we know that we're in trouble. Ooh, okay. Not good. Not good. Oh, the Fez. That's not good. Okay. The odds of them finding a Zard really aren't that high with modern Zard lists. They're so greedy. Playing like 2 Charizard. You know, it is TCG Live, so I'm not going to give them too much credit, but I assume that the Zards must be near the top because they've not been Artisan shuffling, but, you know, that could just be TCG Live, you know. Okay, so this is fine, and, again, I am going to Curlier. I think I want to boss the Pidgey, probably. So we go... Sorry, 2. Prime capture the Pidgey. Because we need to find the Monkey Dory. The issue is that the Fez is making that really irritating. We probably want to find our Rod soon, because we want to Rod back in the Mew. Double Monkey prize, this is definitely something. Because usually here you'd like retreat between the two and put the damage on the Charmeleon. This is where like Radzam would be really nice. This is like when you prize double monkey, it's like, oh, kind of wish I had Radzam. But usually you can get away without it. We know they don't have a Zard in their hand, so we don't really want to Iono them, even though they're going to get to draw a Fez. Because otherwise we're just giving them, what, 9 new cards? If not 10 new cards to see that could have a Zard. But here we're not giving them that many. Shit. Okay. We want to find, like, Boss Gravity Stone next turn, because I am going to assume that they find a Zard here. I mean, 4 cards isn't that many. Probably, yeah, we want to rod back in, Shuppet Mew here, and get this back in the deck, I think. Oh no, because, yeah, more refinement. Mew, Shuppet, no, Banette, I guess. Low, if we go like Boss Guardy. Okay, that's annoying. Okay, we'll give up on the Banette then. That's fine. We'll go those. We want to build up damage on the Charmeleon. Do we ever want an S-Ball for anything? Nope. There's an argument for like Terra Spiritomb, but I think it's fine. We don't really want them to Luminion for boss. And the other thing that we can do with Terra is we can win next turn. If they send up Fez, we can win next turn by going Terra Munkidori, Munkidori again. Terra Charmeleon, that's funny. That's funny. I don't even think we target the Charmeleon anymore because we have the Scream Tail. Collapsed. Ooh, okay. That's fine. I know I just said, oh, we want to keep the tomb, but not so much there. Okay. So here we want to line up damage on this so that we can win with Scream Tail. Because we don't care if Zard hits the board anymore, because it doesn't matter. We don't need boss, we don't need anything. Punch. Yep. If you can hear that alright. Yep, okay. Let's go. So this is very typical of like a Zard game, because, you know, often they will find a Zard. Yeah, here we go. But even if they'd found the Zard earlier, Gravity Stone, Fezandipity, they're stuck. You know, I've ignored the Radzard because I think that was a misplay. But, like, usually you could just spam boss Radzard with Munkidori. And do we see Dusclops here? No, they just don't have any more energy. Okay. I'm down for like a Poltergeist angle here, Loki. But I can just win with boss. So we'll send this up. Well, like the odds of Poltergeist doing well here are like so high. You want to find the safest win though. So we dig for boss. check if boss is in deck. And let's roll for the screen tail. Boss is in deck. Can we guarantee it? No. And I don't think I care that much. There we go. Okay. Now we're just going to kill the Fairs and the Duskull, and then that'll be game. It would have been cool to do it with Scream Tail, but we just didn't have the time. The Dory's wall hiding in the middle row. And that's game. So that's very typical of like most of the stage 2 decks. Dragapult's a little bit different because instead of targeting down the middle stage, you target down all the Duskulls. Because like Dragapult as an attacker for them isn't that good because we just heal all the damage off. Against Zard, you do want to try and get rid of the Charmeleon there. So that was a very typical Zard game. Okay, so this game is against Drago. I do know that beforehand. We do want to win the flip. Okay, it's another lost flip. That's a shame. But, you know, it's winnable. It's winnable. We do really want to flip heads though. Okay. Don't love giving them mulligans because it means they get to like E-switch turn 1, which is what we really hate. A double mulligan, that's awful. Okay, this is a hand. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. We do want to flip heads, and we do want to see like not Drago start though. Okay, okay. This is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Slam Temple's interesting. Do I like Slam Temple? I mean, yeah, no, I do like Slam Temple actually, because it means that like if I had a Luminous in hand, it wouldn't work for Enveloping Shadow. Okay, so we do see Squawk. We don't love trapping Squawk because it just gets to accelerate all the energy to the Dragos. But we don't mind seeing Squawk so much. Okay. I think you Ultra Ball for Ogerpon here. I'm not sure if he's gonna like get Pulse, which makes sense. But yeah, I like Ultra Ball for Ogerpon. Oh, fucking hell. Ooh, the Hoot's bad. The Hoot's so bad here. If they go like Knockdown next turn, they just get to. Oh my god, this is brutal. And the E-switch. Okay. Flipping heads really doesn't do that much here, but you want to go for it just to try and prevent them setting up as much as possible. Ultra Ball, these two. I don't love getting second Shuppet here just because they can just like Dragapult me, but annoyingly we will actually bench third Shuppet because if they cure him they lose, so that's fine. This hand's like really good, I think. Keep that. This hand's like insane. So if we just flip heads here, we're in such a good position. Despite their like insane setup. That's terrible. Okay. It really depends what they got off that research. Because if they go like... Okay, so they're guaranteed the attack, but yeah, they're guaranteed the attack. So they probably got like Pult. These, ooh. Now that's, I don't agree with, well, it really depends what they can do this turn. See, what I wonder if they're going to do is if they're going to set up a second one. That's terrifying. If they set up, this is why we really need to flip heads. Because if they got like Legacy Star for the E-switch here, and they like switch over to the... I don't agree with that. Because they're going to go like kill the Shuppet with the energy, right? Yeah. I think there was some... Yeah, no, I mean... Oh, it's because we use Rod. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, sure. That's fine. So we need like Counter Catcher. Prime Catch is good too. We would have liked to go Ultra Ball for Curlier, but this is way better than anything we could have hoped for. That's not, though, because that's just nothing. Okay. Okay, we need a Curlier, please. We need to, like, establish a board. Because this is fine if we can establish a board. Now, they Vesseled for 2 energy, but I don't think they did anything with them. Jamming Tower's really interesting there. Because, like, I understand it from, like, the perspective of I can't now Gravity Stone, but you have 3 retreat. You have 3 retreat already. I'm gonna find Artisan eventually. And I think you'd rather prevent the Dory. Legacy Star. What do we get back off Legacy Star here? It's like Boss, right? It's gotta be Boss. It's just energy. I would have liked them to discard some energy there. Yeah, see, they take the energy back. That seems correct. Yeah, energy Boss. It's like fine. Yeah, that was a terrible decision. I don't think you really ever want to do that. But I am literally just doing nothing currently. So we just keep stalling. We're not even down that many supporters. This is nuts. Please just give me a supporter. Okay. We need, like, what? I don't know why you take Boss back there if you do that. Unironically, there is a deck out angle here. I think they're... Okay. Is that 6 grass energy? Yeah, again, Celestial Roar there is interesting, but that is 7 grass energy. We want to do this to see if we can find Dory or Boss. We want, like, Counter Catcher, probably. No. This is bad. We've just not seen what we need to see. Because they go, like, retreat here because we didn't find Stadium or anything. We probably want, like, Boss next turn. Boss this... Because if they retreat, right? If they retreat, the Drago is then literally just stuck forever. Have I got any Boss left? Yeah, we got 2 Boss in deck and Counter Catcher. Which was, like, an argument for keeping Ciphers, but... I think draw 4 should probably be enough. Yeah, because their issue is now, if they go, like, retreat this, it is that Drago just gets stuck forever, and they're permanently locked. Kyurem here's awful. Kyurem here loses the game on the spot, I think. I think it decks them out, right? Is this where Turos? No, there's no Turos. I think that's just a deck out lose condition. What's in deck? Is there a killer in deck? It's not a roll. There's not. There is a killer in deck. There's not a Dory. Okay, so I didn't realize that we prized our other Dory. That's fine. Mimiax. Sure. Sure. I think we what's 8 times 3? 240, right? I think we win on deck out. Which is really interesting, and the only deck where you ever really win on deck out is Drago. Knocked out, okay. Yeah, this is not a typical game, but it is an interesting one. I don't think Kyurem was correct. I understand the angle of, like, but I think they're down switch, right? The down switch and catcher is my recollection. This is a really interesting game. Because, like, I understand the rationale behind the Kyurem, but because the plan is, like, to attack with Ogerpon, but I don't think they realise that they are going to deck out. We have, like, bosses left as well, right? So we definitely can force deck out. What's the... They've used 2 Ionos, that's all they play. Scream Tail's, like, fine if we find the Curlier. We do want to find the Curlier so that we can, like... I've not done the exact maths, but I know that I can force deck out. But we'd like our next 2 draws to be, like, Arceus on Curlier, probably. Curlier's fine. Don't need that. There's nothing we really love discarding here, but I think we can discard the Turo. Cool. Yeah, Kyurem's like a really interesting lose condition for them. We want to... Yeah, we know that they deck out, so we just win. Bench Rats, that's really funny. I'm pretty sure they can't move this thing. I mean, they definitely can't attack with Radzard. There's an argument you just can't catch a Radzard. But it wouldn't... I don't believe there's any way they can move or reshuffle a deck or anything. I wonder if they just kind of forgot that Kyurem discards the energy here. Okay, cool. I'm going to slap. Just to be funny. I'm not doing this to some random on ladder, by the way. I do know this person. Slap. And that's game. So that's why you're not so scared of Kyurem, because even if they Kyurem like turn 2, they can kill all your Shuppets. If you flip heads, you just win. You just win on the spot. So like Kyurem is like a 50% of the time they just lose. There it's like guaranteed. There's also going to be a link in the description to the sort of text version of this guide, where all the stuff I talked about is written down. So if you need to come back to it, this is all here written down with all the matchups and stuff. This is a slightly older version with the Radzam, so if you're interested in the interactions Radzam has with the deck, I would check that out. And then I'll also include a link to the Route 12 Discord server, which is all about control. So if you've got any questions, go to the Item Lock channel. I'll probably be lurking.